PK52, the Saturday morning meeting, second phase of incoming phone calls, incoming e-leads, anything digital. Remember, as I said last week, I'm giving you a word track. And this is the first time I've done this. It was by request, but word tracks aren't meant to be used word for word. If I give you some words and you're going, those are the best words that could ever be used, ever, then they become your words, they're not mine anymore. It's a gift, go ahead and take them. But always tweak the words so that it sounds like you, it's your personality. But what we're trying to do when somebody contacts us is we're ultimately trying to sell a car. We're trying to build a client for life. So what I got to do is I've got to make sure the customer comes in and takes delivery of the car, or the incoming email or the incoming phone call was a waste of time. So I'm going to put this down in a word track, and I want to tell you each and every line, why it works and what I was thinking. It's funny, as I wrote this word track years ago, usually word tracks expire and you have to update. The word tracks actually become more prevalent and stronger over time because more customers have more information before they make a call to the dealership or before they contact the dealership, either through a chat or some kind of digital means. So let's just jump in right now. The first thing I'm going to say, let's go phone call today, and remember, everything's interchangeable, so I'll be discussing phones. Customers done research online, now they push the call button and they're making an actual call to you, and you receive the call. Whether you're in the business development center or you're a salesperson, you've got to get the information you need to do business. And again, it's not to set the appointment, as I said last week. I got the whole thing about setting appointments and nobody showing up. It's an agreement to continue. If they come into the dealership, that's an agreement to continue. If you get more information to them a couple of weeks later and they're still asking you for information, that's an agreement to continue. So let's take a little pressure off ourselves and make sure the first contact with the customer is just getting the customer to continue to do business with us. First of all, my first words that I'm going to say, I wrote down last week, and I told you last week, I'm going to write sales. And the reason I'm going to start with sales, I probably contacted some kind of digital answering service. Press 1, press 2, press 6, press 9 for the sales department, parts department, to talk to the human resources manager, whatever. And so I've pressed the number for sales. Let's say it was 1. So I'm looking to talk to somebody in sales. I've made a decision. I pressed number 1. So what I want to make sure is the customer feels like they're getting the right place. If I answer the phone, sales, 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 new car sales, used car sales, Toyota sales, if I say the word sales, the first thing I know is the customer knows they've got the right place. Now I know you see how this is going to work. If I tell you a word, I'm going to tell you why I use the word. If you have a word that's better, plug the word in. I don't need anybody to give me any kind of information. Oh, Casey, I don't like any of the word track you did. Look at the overall reason that I wrote the word track and create your own. Let's be honest. We're supposed to answer the phones in a certain way. We're supposed to have a certain outcome. Most of us use just our natural given abilities when we answer an email or we answer the phone. We never practice this. A receiver in football catches passes every day. A quarterback throws every day, practice handoff. A center snaps the ball. Baseball players take batting practice every day. If my income is dependent on how good I am to expedite somebody to take delivery of a car from me, there should be a practice, and this is what this is right here. So sales, be careful of sales. We don't get aggressive here, but it's just nice and friendly. Sales, 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 and the reason they're calling. Let me write that down. What is the reason they called? They're looking for a car, they're looking for a rate, they're looking to see if it's still in stock, they're looking to see where you're located. All of that into one capsule is simply they're looking for information. So I'm going to say the word information. So here we go. Sales information, sales information. So they know they get the right place, and I know it's the reason they called. Sales information, it is really paramount that you make sure they understand who they're dealing with. In my personal opinion, the next line should be for you to identify yourself. Sales information, this is KC. So what I've done now is I've identified myself. So in my logic on this video, it's the right place, the reason they called, and now I'm going to write down, I am the right person. There's so many rules of thumb in responding to a customer, whether they're at the dealership or they're not at the dealership, they're on a phone or digital. The deal is, don't give them a whole lot of information, bring them in. Well, let me tell you a little secret that I learned a long time ago. If you call me and I don't give you any information, why at the end of the phone call would you say, man, I need to go talk to that guy because he doesn't know anything about what he's doing? The more information I can supply to the customer so I become the right person, the greater chance I have to be able to make that customer my customer forever. So let's go again. Sales information. This is KC. Next line is, again, it's a word track. If you don't like this line, change the line. And I don't want to say this a million times, but it's probably going to happen. It's a word track. Why am I saying it? What do I hope the results are? What vehicle have you selected? Man, let's say years ago when I said that, my response could have been, well, I haven't really made a decision yet. I'm just trying to find out what's out there and what's available. Man, let's fast forward to 2018. You know they've already done research. You know they've already maybe picked a car. If it's a pre-owned car, they know exactly what car they picked. They've looked at the miles. They've looked at 20 to 30 pictures of the car. So this is a smart line now, even smarter than I originally wrote the word track. What vehicle have you selected? What vehicle have you selected? If they answer that, and let's just say, for example, they answer and they say Camry. I honestly don't believe you should answer the phone or answer an email unless you have the ability to write down the responses of the customer. Please don't do all of this work and have no idea what the customer's name is or what they're looking for when they come into the dealership. It's not all about getting the appointment. It's about getting this information. So I go, what vehicle have you selected? They say Camry. I'm going to write it down. I write down Camry. Now, once I've got them to say Camry, a RAV4, a Highlander, if you're in a different industry and they call up and they said, I'm looking at the all-new Fat Boy, or I'm looking at the new Polaris ATV side-by-side. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, you've got the customer, they've actually selected a vehicle and they told you what their mission is. Camry, I'm going to say the word great. And I'm going to tell you about these great words and everything. I call them a fish word. And I'll tell you, I'm going to give you the story, and if you know me for decades, then you've heard this story before, but I'm going to share it with everybody that's new to me. But I'm going to go, they go, Camry, go, great, fantastic, that's a good choice. It doesn't matter what the word is here, it's a fish word. They've answered a question for me, and I'm now giving them a reward. I'm going to reward the customer. If they give me something, I'm going to make them feel good. Everybody likes to know when you come off the field to the sideline, the coach looks at us and goes, fantastic job. That's exactly the way we wanted you. You feel good about it. When your boss walks in and said, that was a spectacular job you just did. When your spouse says, you know what, you're the most important person in my life. You are fantastic. I don't care who you are or how bad your attitude is. It really feels good when somebody gives you a little shot or a reward. It's a mental thing. Great, fish, fantastic, good choice. These are fish words. Years ago when my children were small, we lived in Florida. We used to go to SeaWorld all the time. I love SeaWorld. And they had a deal called the Clyde and Seymour Show. So it was an otter and a seal, and they did all these. It was amazing what they had actually trained these animals to be able to do. But at the end, there was a big tall tower, and Clyde was supposed to jump off this thing into the water. The guy walks out empty-handed, no bucket, no fish, and he goes, Clyde, jump. Clyde would he'd do that, the seal waving of the head. He wouldn't jump. The next trainer walked out with a big bucket of fish, and he go, Clyde, jump. Bam! Clyde went in the water because there was a reward and a reason. So my fish words are good choice, great, fantastic. Thank you for that information. So you're up. Think about this. There is no way to say the word great like you're not interested. Yeah, great. I mean, I honestly, I've heard people say, but that's not the use of the word. If you're up, if you're on your toes, great. Think about this real quick, and I know I'm spending a lot of time on this. Is this really for the customer? Or is this really for you? If I go great, then the sound of my voice is up, I'm attentive, the customer knows that I'm there to help them, and what I'm doing is I'm motivating myself through attitude so the customer feels like that this is a real thing and a real need. Stay tuned as we move off the fish word into some more of the word track for incoming digital or phone calls. So real quick, sales information, this is KC. What vehicle have you selected? Great, that's where we are so far. Now, once we've thrown the fish word out, the customer knows that we're paying attention, our attitude's up. The next thing is, out of my mouth, I can say, can I have your name? If I say that, the customer's going to weigh that and go, I don't know, why would you need my name right now? So what I want to do is I want to make it part of the conversation. I want it to flow. So I would come from, great, spelling of your last name, spelling of your last name, the spelling of your last name, spelling of your last name. When you started in elementary school, first grade, second grade, third grade, everybody called you last name first, first name last, and they would say spelling of your last name. When you wrote something down, spelling of your last name. So thousands of times we've been asked that in our brain to spell your last name. I've done this so many times with so many customers. It's funny because sometimes they'll spell their last name and then they'll come back and go, yeah, I really didn't mean to give you that. And I said, that's all right, I'm going to give you my name also. So it's fine. So sales information, this is Casey. What vehicle have you selected? Camry, great. Spelling of your last name and your first. To me, once I get this last name and a first, I call that the first commitment. So most important is to write it down. Sales information, this is Casey. What vehicle have you selected? Great, spelling of your last name and your first. Next line, these two lines right here, I'm giving to you right now, they're throwaway lines. If you don't like them, if you don't like what they do, then give them away. But I know this video is going to be watched by BDCs and maybe some business development centers and some internet centers that aren't even at the dealership. So when you give me this information as a salesperson, and it's secondhand information, the more information you can give me as a sales professional, the greater chance I have to sell the car to the person that I've never even talked to. So I've got somebody in the internet department that set the appointment, got all the information, and they passed that information to me. Please do not, if you're in the internet department, do not be scrimpy with the information. The more information you give me, the better off. So let me touch these two lines. How did you choose to call us? So I want to know. They'll come back and say, I looked online and I found the car I was looking for. That's awesome. So I know exactly where they found the information. So before the customer comes in, I can go online and see exactly what we've said, how we've priced the car, and what they're expecting the car to be. All right, the next thing is they can say, how did you, well, you know what, you're in my market, I drive by you every day at work, so I know they live in my general area. So this information to me, it's a million different responses. I like it. Again, I've boxed it, so it's bonus stuff. It's not in the flow. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. And then I like this right here, especially for BDCs and internet department. For our marketing purpose, your zip code is. And I'll tell you a little secret about zip code. If I know zip code, then I basically know your income level. I know your travel time. It's funny, when I ran Atlanta Toyota, we would get people that would call from Nashville, Tennessee, because our advertisement was cable advertising and we were really aggressive on our advertising. And when we got a Nashville, Tennessee zip code, we got pretty aggressive on the phone, because if you're willing to drive from Nashville to Atlanta to buy a car, then it was a big time deal. So I really wanted to know, how far is my advertisement reaching and how awesome do I have to be to get the customer to commit to coming to me? So again, this is throwaway lines right now. So what I want to do is I want to focus on this. So we both have the same information. So let me go from this, spelling of your last name and your first. I write that down and then I go here. So we both have the same information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. I do realize, I don't want to be old school with you right now, I do realize that a lot of people don't write anything down anymore and it's all digital. So this encompasses both digital and physical. But I want them to grab something to write on, or I want them to be on their tablet, because I'm about to give them information. And if you remember, information is the reason they called. So we both have the same information. Let me circle this word. So we have the same information. You and I have the information, which means I'm telling the customer I'm going to give you information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. And obviously, everybody watching this right now knows what I'm going to have them write down. Everybody knows. You know exactly what I'm going to have them write down. My name. So let me just go real quick and watch the word track. Sales information, this is KC. What vehicle have you selected? Great, spelling of your last name and your first. So we both have the same information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. Okay, wait for them to get ready to get your information that you're going to give them. So if they go get a pen and something to write on, then what I'm going to call that is my second commitment. First commitment is they spell their name for me. Second commitment is we're now going to get them to write down some information. Stay tuned as I set my whiteboard up as we continue on to the word track for incoming digital and incoming phone calls. Okay, continuing on. So got my third board over here right now, so I'm going to step to the right of this, and let me just jump over here and do this. So we both have the same information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. I call that my second commitment, and I get the customer to write down my name. So from that, once they write that down, look, if I've got the paper in front of them, I can also give them my email number. I can give them my cell phone number so they can text information. So if I've got somebody writing information down, that doesn't mean that you just move to the next deal. If you've got them writing information down, give them all the information they need to contact you. And you can also give them some websites they can go to. If they haven't been to your dealership website to review the products online and any special offers that you might have. For example, we just launched the Toyota Certified Used Vehicle.com website. So, I mean, chances are they've never been there. So we got all the information they need. I can add that right here. So with that in mind, let's move on. So we both have the same information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. I'm waiting. Okay, I've got it. Here we go. If they already said they have a pen and they're already writing stuff down, you have to figure out what's going on with this customer. You've never met them before. If they're prepared and they're already writing information down, then you are not the only dealership they're calling. So you might want to just kick your chair out from underneath you, stand up kind of in a linebacker hitting position, because now the competition's on, because they're going to choose one or two stores to go to, and you want to make sure that you're one of those stores, so get your game up. So I've already got a pen and I'm already writing this stuff down. Immediately you know this customer is out doing research and they are ready to buy a car. So, great information, let's move on. Please write this down. I always go, jot this down. Just jot this down. It's casual conversation, it's very conversational. Doesn't sound like I'm reading it out of a book. Oh, hang on, let me go to page 13. Okay, please write this down. You don't want it to sound like that. You want it to be conversational. That's why you practice your word tracks. Jot this down. My name is KC, that's spelled KC, the initials KC. My name is Mike, that's M-I-K-E. I don't know if there's any human on earth that can't spell Mike, but if that slows you down. My name is Mike, M-I-K-E. My name is John, without the H, J-O-N. My name is KC, just the initials K-C. Write that down. And if you would, write down ABC Toyota. So please write this down. My name is KC, and please write down the name of the dealership, ABC Toyota. From there, while they're writing something down, people aren't good at doing two things at once. They're distracted. So while they're distracted, writing my information down, this is KC, write down ABC Toyota. Are you calling from home or work? Are you calling from home or work? Are you calling from home or work? Try that if you're watching the video. It's not, are you calling from home or work? It's, are you calling from home or work? Are you calling from home or work? If they say work, great, they got a job. That's fantastic. That helps us with financing. But are you calling from home or work? And the number is, and the number is. Are you calling from home or work? And the number is. If you say that and you do it as a part of just a natural conversation, then there's a chance you might get the number. So right here I would call this the third commitment and this the fourth commitment. So let's go pretty quick. Sales information. This is KC. What vehicle have you selected? Spelling your last name and your first. So we both have the same information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. Jot this down. My name is KC, just the initials KC. If you'll write that down. And right below my name, write down ABC Toyota. So there we are right there. Are you calling from home or work? Are you calling from home or work? So once again, sales information, this is KC. What vehicle have you selected? Great, spelling your last name and your first, so we both have the same information. Please jot this down. My name is KC, spelled KC. Also write down the dealership, ABC Toyota. Are you calling from home or work? Very easy word track. How many times do you need to say that till you can do it? Now here's the beauty part about it is, I'm never ever going to tell you guys that it's always going to go like this, because this is not a script, it's a word track. I start talking, I go, sales information, this is KC. Hey, I'm calling for a car from my mom. Don't continue on the word track. Say, great, hang on, great. So your mom, you're getting a car for your mom. Tell me what you guys have discussed and what your main focus is. So I'm gonna have a conversation with them. We may talk 10 minutes about their mom and why you're buying a car for their mom, what she has right now, what the situation is, because obviously it was important enough for them to bring it up right now. Don't discard that. This is not a script. Don't push that away. Listen to what they said. The great thing about learning a word track is you know the word track so solidly that after the customer stops talking and you've had that conversation about something they wanted to talk about, you come right back and go, what vehicle have you selected? Spelling your last name and your first, so we both have the same information. Please grab a pen and something to write on. So I opened up the dialogue. The customer immediately went on a separate mission of information that they wanted to give to me. Why they're calling, whatever, it doesn't matter. I listened and responded to everything they said. As soon as there was another opening, because they'd given me everything they need, I go right back to my word track. The word track that you've written for yourself. So my goal is not on a time frame, it's on their time frame. But I know exactly what information I want, and I can immediately come to that. Listen, this has been a lot of information, and I got yelled at last week because my video last week was almost 30 minutes long, and that is absolutely my bad. I never want to make them this long, but I've also never had a request for somebody to say, break it down. How do I set the appointment? How do I get the information? And I'm trying to do the best job with the time allowed. So this is the second phase of incoming phone calls, digital incoming information, and how we respond to that so that we have an agreement to continue. PK52, the Saturday morning meeting. See you next week.